now we are going to discuss the second type of neuron based on the structure and the function. Since the first type we have already covered on the first session of this session. So the second part, or the second type of the neuron based on the structure and the function, it is called the interneurons. It is called the interneuron, or we can call it intermediate neurons. Tunaita interneurons, or we can call it relay neuron. So ina majina mengi. So ukikutana na relay neuron, ukikutana na intermediate neuron, ukikutana na interneuron, ni kitu kimoja. So we have to know what is this interneuron. Here we are saying that these are also known as connector neurons or relay neuron. So they are also referred as connector neuron, kwa maana kwamba hii ni neuron ambayo una uwezo mkubwa wa kuunganisha kati ya neuron moja na neuron nyingine. So now let's see their structure now. So in the figure 4.4 is where now we can see the structure of the relay neuron or connector neuron. So you have to be aware of those words, kwa sababu unaweza ukaulizwa what is connector neurons. So don't be confused. Connector neurons is the same as relay neurons, the same as interneurons, the same as intermediate neuron. So this one is the structure of this intermediate neuron. As you can see, this structure, it has a synaptic end which connects between one neuron and another neuron. It causes impulse. That is, it contains neurotransmitters and chemicals that transmit impulse very fast. And also this this structure of relay neuron or intermediate neuron, it has axon. You know the function of axon. The function of axon is for transmission of the electrical signal from one region of the neuron to another for interpretation. And this axon, it is very short, as you can see here, the diagram. It is very short compared to the rest of the neuron. And we have the cell bodies where now different kinds of metabolic activities are taking place within it. But lastly, we have the dendrites, which are branched from the dendron. So now we have to see the explanation of what is this relay neuron and the function of this relay neuron in coordination in general. So here we are saying that this relay neuron, they are much smaller nerve cells with many interconnections. As you can see in this diagram, they are very small. This interneuron or relay neurons, they are very small. Ni vidogo vidogo sana hizi neurons. Lakini hizi neurons pia tunasema kwamba they have many connection. They have many connection. As you can see here, these synaptic ends, they have various synaptic ends, kwa maana kwamba inahusika kwenye kuconnect. Ili kwenye synaptic end ndipo ambapo there is connection of another neuron, na ndio maana tunasema hapa inakuwa na many connection. And also tunasema kwamba hii interneurons have short dendrite and short or long axon. So as we have already seen in the previous structure of the intermediate neuron, it has a short axon. Hile axon inakuwa ni fupi zaidi ukicompare na the rest of the types of the neuron that are found within the structure and the function of the neuron. This organ, mainly we are talking about interneuron, it has a small or shorter neuron, and also they have shorter dendrites. Even when you are looking on its dendrites, they are very short. Vinakuwa vifupi, vinakuwa vingi sana. And now we can say that they lie entirely within the central nervous system, that is brain and is spinal cord. Hapa tunasema kwamba hizi interneurons zinakuwepo katikati ya hii brain na spinal cord. Yani they are located within the brain and the spinal cord, and that is the location of this interneuron. So if you have been asked where is this interneuron are located within the central nervous system, specifically brain and the spinal cord. So their role now, or their function of this interneuron, is to transmit nerve impulse within the central nervous system. That is, they relay information between sensory and motor neurons, and that's the word relay neurons come from here, kwa maana kwamba hizi interneurons they connect information or they link information between one sensory neuron and the motor neuron. Yani hii ambayo tunaita interneuron tunasema kwamba ina connect au inaunganisha between sensory neuron pamoja na hii tunayoita motor neurons. Kwa hii ndio ambayo inachukua information kutoka kwenye sensory neuron inapeleka kwenye brain ina interpret. Ikisha interpret ile information inaenda moja kwa moja, ile sensory neuron mainly we are talking about interneuron inachukua ile information from the brain inapeleka moja kwa moja kwenye motor neuron to provide an appropriate response. So that is the role or the main function of the relay neuron, is to connect, is to link between the sensory neuron and the motor neuron. And also we can say that the sensory neuron and intermediate neurons both carries impulse toward the central nervous system. So now we can say that ukiangalia ile sensory neuron pamoja na hii motor neurons zote zinafanya kazi ya kuchukua information kupeleka moja kwa moja kwenye central nervous system. That is to kupeleka kwenye ile structure ya brain au kwenye spinal cord. So siku nyingine unaweza ukaulizwa the similarity ambazo zinakuwepo kati ya sensory neuron na relay neuron is to transmit information into the central nervous system. So here in relay neuron you have to know relay neuron it connect between or it interlink between the sensory neuron and the motor neuron and conveying information from sensory neuron to the central nervous system. And apart from the interneuron, also we have another type of neuron, and this is motor neuron, or we can call it efferent neuron. So what is this now, and what is the function of it? Here we are saying that this motor neuron have short dendrites and long axon. Their dendrites and cell bodies are located in the central nervous system, and the axon is outside the central nervous system. This mainly we are talking about motor neuron or efferent neuron. Tunasema kwamba yenyewe inakuwa na short dendrite lakini inakuwa na long axon. Tutaenda kuangalia kwenye structure utaiona hii long axon ipoje. And also here we have said that within this motor neurons they have dendrites and cell bodies are located within the central nervous system. So hile cell body pamoja na dendrites zote zimebi located within the central nervous system, but the axon it is located away from the central nervous system. And now we can say that motor neurons transmit the impulse from the central nervous system to the effector organs such as the muscles or the glands, which eventually responds to stimulus. That is, we can go to see in the figure 4.5. So tunasema hii motor neurons yenyewe inafanya kazi ya kuchukua information kutoka kwenye central nervous system kupeleka moja kwa moja kwenye structure ambayo inaitwa effector. And when we are talking about the effector here, we are talking about the muscles and the gland. So ile muscles na gland ina provide appropriate response is due to the information that have been carried into the motor neurons. So this effector will provide an appropriate response, either to run from the stimulus or to stay within the stimulus. So and also tunasema kwamba ina provide appropriate response to the stimulus. I hope you know what is the stimulus. That is external changes of the environment. Changes that occurring within the environment. It can either internal change or external change. So, and also we can say that axon meaning always transmit impulse away from the cell body, while dendron carries impulse toward the cell body. Hizo ndizo kazi ya axon pamoja na kazi ya dendrites, kwa maana kwamba ile axon inafanya kazi ya kutransmit information kutoka kwenye cell body kupeleka kwenye effector, lakini ile dendrite inafanya kazi ya kuchukua information kutoka kwenye central nervous system kuingiza ndani ya motor neurons, so that it can be transmitted into the effector. So now let's see this figure which shows the structure of the motor neuron. So now you can see this one is the direction of the nerve impulse. So when you have been taught to draw the diagram of these motor neurons, don't forget to show or to indicate the direction of the nerve impulse. As here you can see, we have said that the cell board together with the dendrites are located within the central nervous system, meaning that it carries information from the central nervous system into the effector. And remember, effector here we are talking about the muscles. So and also here we have the myelin sheath. The function of myelin sheath is obvious. And also we have the axon. This one is the axon from here to here. This one, it is called the axon. The node of Ranvier is to speed up the rate of transmission of the signal or nerve impulse from one region to another region very fast. So my students, and that is the structure of the motor neuron. Don't forget to indicate the location, or tunasema kwamba to indicate the direction of the nerve impulse while you are drawing your structure. So, and also make practice in drawing the different kinds of neurons which are found within the types of neuron based on the structure and the function. So my student, after saying so, and this marked the end of our today's session. So thank you for following us, Educare TZ, and bye-bye. Have a nice moment.